on. Here's the first yoke, here's the back, and here's the other yoke. And I have a pin here marking the pleat. I'm just going to make sure I take that out. Okay, now the next thing I would do is to trim and grade this seam. But before I do that, I might go ahead and sew the shoulder seam just to get it exactly where I want it, and then I can come back and trim and grade. Okay, so here's the right side of the back, the right side of the yoke. See that you've got that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the other side of the yoke and I'm just going to lay it down flat so that it's right here, folded underneath the shirt. Okay, so then I'm going to take my two fronts and they now get sewn together at the shoulder seam of the yoke. So here's my right side, and so I'm going to put right sides together. So I kind of line that up, and then here's my left side, or here's the right side of the right side. This was the right side of the left side. Okay, so now I'm gonna, again, I put that's where the shoulder seams are gonna go. So I'm gonna lay it out flat, and then I'm going to take the shirt and I'm going to start rolling it up. So we call this method the burrito method. Okay, so I'm going to roll this up like a burrito. Okay, and then when I get up here, here's the other side of the yoke, and I'm just going to go all the way up like that, and then I'm going to take this, wrap it up around. So see, there's my burrito, and then I'm going to take these three pieces at the shoulder seam, and this is all stay stitched. I've stay stitched the shoulder and the neck of the yoke so it doesn't stretch out of shape, and then I'm going to pin this together good. Okay, make sure your raw edges are together, and you want to make sure they line up at the edge here, right at the seam. And if it's a little off, you can usually, because this is a bias direction, you can kind of stretch it a bit to make sure it all fits in. Okay, I've got that side. Now let's do the other side. Here's my three layers together. I'm gonna put those together right here. Okay. Okay, and I'm getting these all lined up good. Now I'm gonna make sure they all line up at this edge. If not, well, they will line up because I'll make them. So you want to make sure you get those lined up on both edges. There, okay. So now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sew 5/8 along here, shoulder seam, and here. And I'm going to sew directionally, which means I'm going to start at the neck and go down to the shoulder. Well, the neck at the shoulder down to the arm side. Okay, so I'm just finishing sewing the one shoulder seam with my 3 seams, so that again this is a sandwich seam. Okay, and now I'm going to see, doesn't that look like a giant burrito? Probably wouldn't taste like a burrito. Okay, now we're going to do 5/8 on this side. You want to make sure you back stitch. Okay, now I'm going to show you this little magic trick. So I've got them sewn together, And if I take this little shirt right out of the neck seam, and because I have stay stitched the neck, it will not stretch it out, so I'm okay there. And when I do this and unroll it, then I turn it to the right side. Look how my seams are all enclosed. Here's the right side, and here's the inside. And on the inside, see how that is all enclosed here. Isn't that perfect? I can take these pins out. Okay, so now that I know I've got it sewn exactly where I want it, and I've got my right side, the right side showing here, and the right side on this side, it looks great. I'm going to go back inside now, and I'm going to trim and grade. I'm going to trim and grade my seams good, then I'm going to press it, and I'm going to edge stitch all along the yoke here. So I'll go ahead and do that trimming and grading, and then we'll go on to the next step.